So hi, I'm good, and I'm going to show you how evasion works in Path of Exile. So evasion is a mechanic of all attacks. Every attack has a certain amount of accuracy to it, and the comparison between that accuracy that attack has and the defender's evasion amount, there's a certain amount of chance that the attack will not hit. I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. So if you look at your character sheet, you have a chance to evade. You know, I have a 39% chance to evade. I have 5,815 evasion rating. The character sheet is always based off of stock level 77 mob, if you're above level 77. If you're below that, it's based off of a stock mob of the same level that you are. So the number of, or the amount of accuracy that they felt, or the Grinding Games felt, a stock 77 mob should have for the character sheet was 530 accuracy, something they just pulled out of their ass. I don't know where they get it from, but that's apparently about how much evasion 77 mobs do, or have. And evasion lets you avoid all the damage of the attack, all of it. So none of these mobs do any damage to me, and it's actually really strong for a couple reasons. For one, evasion lets you not worry about your resistances as much. So I have 43 fire resistance right now, and there's also a fire mage in here that curses me with flammability, which puts me down to 7 fire resistance. And I still don't really care about my resistances, because these mobs don't really hit me, ever. There's even a mob, the boss down here, who does chaos damage. I have no chaos resistance at all, and I don't really care about that. So evasion's actually really, really strong against maps with extra elemental damage and minus max or elemental weakness maps, because you don't really care about those mods as much. Spells always hit. You can't evade spells, so you know, still dangerous in those scenarios. So unlike armor, which only blocks physical damage, evasion prevents all of the damage. It's similar to blocking. You can still block hits, like you can still block attacks, and you can still dodge attacks. Like, dodging is actually very, very similar to evasion, but it doesn't roll something called an entry value, which we'll get into later on. So blocking also blocks all the damage attacks do, but if you block an attack that does enough damage, you can get stunned from it. So, yeah, see there, I just got stunned. Wow, I got stunned. Oh, okay, I just blocked it. So you can still block all the damage, you can still evade all the damage, you can still dodge all the damage, but if you block it, you can still get stunned, which is kind of important for some things in a really, really late game. It can kind of screw you over occasionally. What else is there? So this number right here, this 39% over here, that's actually a calculated value. And the exact equation from it is this one right here. And you can see the little marker there. It's been verified by, you know, Grinding Games. So as you get more evasion, there's a power in here that's less than 1. So as you get more and more evasion, the amount of evasion it takes to get that next 1% goes up substantially. So around, I think, 8,000 or so evasion is really that, like, breaking point where it simply becomes untenable to bother getting more evasion. But this chance to evade number is important because you have a chance to evade, and Ondar's Guile simply doubles that. So there's a node on the table that's called Ondar's Guile. It doubles your chance to evade projectile attacks, which is why I can just simply sit here and, you know, go make a sandwich and come back and I'll still be alive. Because that 39%, which is actually higher, it's probably like 45 or 46% or something like that, that's actually doubled to like 80%, which means that, you know, only 1/5 of any of these attacks hit me, at least. So, you know, evasion by itself actually isn't that strong. You know, evading 39% of attacks is, you know, it's nice, but that's only attacks. So spells still hit you every single time, so, you know, doesn't do anything against spells. And, you know, there's a lot of nodes off the table that pretty much buff evasion for free. Like Ondar's Guile doubles your chance to avoid or evade projectile attacks. Acrobatics, you simply get 30% more chance to dodge attacks for free if you pass by it, which is incredibly strong. It's one node for that much. Then there's nodes behind it to make it even better. So, you know, on top of all this, you can also stack block or something, but it's not wise to stack only evasion. So, yeah, you know, hope you gonna learn from this video. Actually, there's one last thing. There's a combination called Unwavering Stance and Iron Reflexes. And there's one sort of scenario where these two nodes together are actually very dangerous, or specifically Unwavering Stance in general. And that's on maps that have extra elemental damage along with something called minus max resistances. So get the two paired together, it becomes very dangerous because you have a lot less resistance and mobs do a lot more elemental damage. Evasion characters actually, or really avoidance-based characters like that stack block, that stack dodge, that stack evasion, they won't care about those mods quite as much. But if you have the Unwavering Stance Iron Reflexes combination, you'll get hit by all the attacks every single time, and none of that extra elemental damage will ever be mitigated. So, you know, something you want to avoid if you have that combination, if you can. You know, try to roll over it. But, you know, if you have that combination with an evasion-based character, you can still probably do it without too much issue. You know, some things, some specific enemies or types of mobs can still be a bit dangerous, though. But it's not nearly as dangerous as, or it'll only be really as dangerous as a minus max map. The extra elemental damage isn't going to do too much. So that's evasion, and, you know, its strengths and weaknesses. So dealing with this, I'll get into the other types of defense, yeah, soon. So I'll see you next time. Okay, yeah, so entropy. All entropy is there to do is make sure that you don't get hit a lot of times in succession based off of random chance, or evade too many times based off random chance. It's there to kind of normalize out how chance-based systems work. Entropy only applies to evasion, it doesn't apply to dodge, it doesn't apply to block, and entropy applies to the entire group as a whole. Let me get rid of that guy. Yeah. So say I have an 80% chance to evade. On average, I'll get hit 1 in 5 times, so it'll be miss, 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 hit, then miss, 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 hit, and then miss, 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 hit. And say it happens to go around and finally the boss hits me. You know, that could happen. So all it really does is normalize out the evasion pattern for your character to make sure you don't get randomly screwed, yeah, just by random chance. Block does not work the same way. If you max out your block, you can still randomly get hit like 5-10 times in a row, and it's like, what is going on? Or like with acrobatics, it can still happen a lot of times in a row. But with evasion, it's actually very, very regular, your chance to evade. So that's all entropy is. It's not rolled per enemy, it's rolled per your character, I guess. Apparently it's like per groups of mobs. And that's really all it is. It's not magical, that's all it does. So I hope you learned something, and I will see you next time.